People have
Hey guys, sorry, a little bit late, but that's because I got talking to the most exciting author that I have met in a long, long, long time. Um, I know you're all waiting for it. I have here with me Nemat Sadat, and I have your questions coming in and comments coming in, and I know how exciting this book has been because suddenly you're all alive and there's so much of action that it is getting me excited about it. I think this is one of the moments for which this book club was made. And I always said that I'm not the kind of person who shouts out my opinion or my affiliations or what I really feel from the rooftops. But I think the books you choose and the conversations you have tell you exactly what kind of a person I am. And this book kind of tells you that also. Nemat is a debut author. This is his debut book, and I don't think I'm. I'm at loss of words as to how amazing this debut has been, how amazing this book has been, how well it has been written. The big story that shouts out is the LGBTQ plus. Is that the right way to say it?
Absolutely.
That we would say, but what I found even more stunning was the wonderful, wonderful layers that this book has. And as you read the book, you realize that you keep peeling these different, beautiful layers. And there were times while I was reading this book that I thought I cannot go on anymore. It broke my heart. It made me weep. It made me smile. It did give me hope also. So less about me and the book now and what I felt, and more to Nemat now. Let's hear what he has to say about it. Nemat, welcome to Sonali's Book Club. I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm so excited that we have your book. Very rarely, we've not really done debut novels in the book club as yet. Yours is one of the first ones that we've had on as soon as it has released. And it just won all our hearts over. We've got fantastic comments coming in. But let's start with asking, what made you write this book?
Well, thank you for having me here, Sonali. It truly is a pleasure for someone like me, a gay Afghan refugee, to meet someone who is an icon of Bollywood. It's coming a long way. So I think for many Afghans who are, they dream of like Bollywood, it's because it's a big importance for us. I mean, of course, we're here for a book club. We're here talking about literature, but it's all part.
The Bollywood is such a part of me, and I do agree with you that it has given me an identity which I've been able to take ahead with, I think, the book club and everything, because this gives me the joy. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. It's part of culture. I think the film industry feeds off literature and vice versa. So we wouldn't be here without each other. So, initially, this book, it was my own repression. Being a repressed homosexual, coming from a gay Afghan Muslim family. I grew up in Southern California, and I moved away to Boston for graduate school, pursuing journalism. But deep down inside, I knew I wanted to become a novel, but I knew how hard that would be to ever achieve. And I never thought I could live a life as an artist because I know how difficult, how many challenges there would be. So one summer, I just decided after Barack Obama won the Democratic nomination, I figured if a biracial Black man, and given the United States and the history of slavery, can secure the nomination for a major political party in the United States, then I can write this novel that has been bottled up inside me. And also the experience of unrequited love that I had. I feel like, like Jane Austen, she never married, but she wrote some of the greatest love stories that have endured for centuries. And I figured, well, maybe I can do it too. Maybe I can write a love story that people can be like, wow, this is the way love should really be.
Yeah, we can't discuss the end of the book and everything. It's a spoiler alert then. But yes, so that's the part of it that I will not talk about. But something that you said just now about Obama being the, winning the nominations and then eventually being the president of United States of America, which is the free world, so to say. Was it different from Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, where you would think that there's so much of repression, you're not going to be allowed to come out and talk about being a gay, and here you were in the free world? Was it so different?
No, actually, it was very different. I mean, because I am part of the Afghan diaspora community. I still spent most of the time mostly with Afghans and Muslims and Easterners, right? Because I wasn't fully assimilated into
Right.
white American culture. So even though I was trying at the time. So I think this took a different shape. And after 2013, after I came out to the entire world on Facebook, I tried to come out to my family in 2000.
What happened?
Basically, I went back to Afghanistan. After 32 years in exile, I left when I was 8 months old. I went back to teach at the American University of Afghanistan to teach political science. And there I was persecuted for bringing, rumors started spreading that I was a practicing homosexual and a lapsed Muslim. And they told me
What
to...
do you mean by lapsed Muslim?
A Muslim who doesn't practice his religion. Basically, he's just Muslim by name, but he's not really a devout person.
Okay.
He's basically secretly not really a believer.
Okay.
And so I decided that, you know what, I'm going to speak up for human rights. If they're going to fight against me, I'm not going to be a coward and leave. I have to demonstrate my courage and speak up for those people who don't have a voice. So I would meet secretly with other gay men in hotels and coffee shops in Kabul. And on social media, I started promoting gradually LGBTQ rights. And I got a lot of pushback from children of drug lords and warlords who did not like what I was doing.
What did they say?
They basically thought that I was creating a fitna and fasad, which basically I was subverting Islam in Afghanistan. That one person, me, can subvert Islam. That's how fragile it is, right? And so that basically I was against Sharia law, and I was doing things that human rights is against. There's contradiction here. And maybe there is. I mean, I don't know of any country that has gay marriage and Sharia law simultaneously next to each other. But until it got to a point where at the end of the school year, I left, and the university told me, do not come back, because they've now taken this case to the Afghan government, and they basically want to criminalize you. And I said, but I'm a U.S. citizen. And they're like, it doesn't matter. You were born here. Your parents are Afghan, so they will try you as an Afghan.
So you could not go back?
I could not go back. And I said, wait a minute. I had nothing to lose. My family said, do not come out. When I came out to them in 2009, they're like, whatever you do, keep it a secret, because they wanted to keep face in the community. They're like, whatever you are, just don't share with the world. And I felt like this is not right. This is I was still, why they said, my parents were still pressuring me to get married to a woman, even though they knew I was gay. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna if I want to be a leader and I want to be an example and a role model, I need to come out. So I decided to come out to the entire world.
How brave! I know you must have been told that, but how brave are you to do that?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
It's not easy to do. I was the first person.
I mean, that's the understatement of the year. Not easy to do. It's one of the hardest things ever.
Especially when you're the first
there's so
person.
many people who live the lie, who do get married to women and continue living the lie. But you had all the reasons to actually live the lie and go on with it the way it was going. But you didn't. You actually took literally you've taken the life in your hands, and you've said that, no, this is what it is, and I'm going to stand up for it. And it takes immense amount of courage to do that. And really hats off to you for that.
Well, thank you. I think it comes from a place of realizing from a very young age that I have a sense of responsibility. I think I had the independence to come out because of who my grandmother was and who my mother were. My grandmother was, after King Amanullah Khan granted women the right to education, and there is in Afghanistan led many European countries like Portugal, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland, and granting suffrage. My grandmother became a breadwinner, and she became an educated person. And then giving my mom the opportunity to get an education, to be independent.
So you felt that considering that my family has this opportunity, I need to go out there and take a stand.
Yes, the sense of integrity, the sense of noblesse oblige. And also, I think that even though I come from a privileged background, being, like a Mamadzai Pashtun or Durrani Pashtun, if I was in Afghanistan, I could have, like you said, just lived a double life and just taken advantage of, of all the privileges, and maybe even be corrupt and become a deputy minister or something like that. But I decided, no, I think that living in the United States, experiencing the marginalization that I did, especially when I came of age after September 11 terrorist attacks, when my adopted land went to war with my homeland, and then being an apologetic and trying to fit in and being like, show that I'm not violent, and, you know, saw that my Afghan and my Muslim identity were under attack, and my skin color and being brown and not being white enough. So I felt like, you know what, those are the things, those are my experiences. I feel like it shaped me to who the person I am today. And I think that's the reason why I decided to come out. And I felt like, you know, I felt like if I really wanted to, once I actually took that leap of faith, I decided to myself that this book is not just about my own story. This became a voice and a vessel for the hundreds of millions of LGBTQ people in the 68 countries that are still criminalized to death. I mean, we're sitting here, but there's right now, in Chechnya, right now, there's concentration camps. We said never before after Hitler put gays in concentration camps, but there still are. You know, and the Sultan of Brunei can have affairs with many women, but he himself has instituted a law where they can stone, you know, gay homosexuals there. So we're living in this kind of a world, and we know the horrors that happen in Iran and Saudi Arabia and other countries in the Middle East. So this goes on in many, many countries. So I felt like this Kanishka Nurzada is a voice for many people, and that's why it can't just be about sex and sexuality and romance. It has to be a lot more bigger.
But this book is so much more than just that. I mean, you know, it's sex and sexuality is a part of it, definitely, but there's so much more to this book than anything than just that. How long did it take for you to write this book?
It took me 11 years in total.
Oh. When you actually put the pen to paper?
There were months at a time when I put it away and shelved it, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't working on it. I was still mentally...
It was going on.
It was going on, and I was still coming up with scenes, coming up with names for characters, coming up with different things.
So basically you felt that the story that was there refused to go away, and these characters, Kanishk said basically that, why aren't you getting me out into the world?
Exactly.
Yes.
I think the dejected voices of Kanishka and other characters in this book, they were like just coming at me and haunting me and like, look, get my story out there. I need to be told. Yeah. Because I felt like all the literature that has come out of Afghanistan fit the dominant Anglo-American narrative, which likes to portray Afghanistan as this barbaric country, burqas, bomb blasts, bachabazi, you know, which is pedophilia. And it's like, that's what we want to show because it helps the, you know, U.S. ruling class with their militarism and their occupation of this country. And a lot of people like, why are they even there? You know, they're just looting the country. They haven't made the situation better as far as human rights. But it's like, that's something that I wanted to show different about. I wanted to show that golden age or that paradise lost.
You're showing us the culture, where it comes from. And again, in that zone also, you also realize that how similar we actually are.
Absolutely.
Indians and Afghanis, how similar we are. The vein, the thread is the same.
Yeah, I've said that many times before. Like Afghanistan is like the twin sibling of India that's been separated at birth.
Absolutely.
Tracing back all the way to antiquity, there's so much of commonality and heritage, and I bring that in passing. You get snapshots.
Yeah. We have some a beautiful comment, in fact, from one of our one of our readers. Shruti says that I knew nothing about Afghanistan apart from Kabuliwala, Multani Mitti and Kabuli Chana, and wonderful people. But after finishing 1/3 of your book, I found it is so familiar yet strange. You follow Islam but celebrate Parsi New Year and keep Rig Veda along with Quran. Surprised question, but see, these are the things, and they've sent us the picture also as she's reading that.
Okay, yeah, the contradictions.
Yes, and this is it. And, you know, one wouldn't have understood it. And, you know, there's so much more that we are learning about Afghanistan from this book that has been, you know, we wouldn't have known, and we've all happily forgotten. Absolutely. You know, in that sense. Manpreet says, hats off to you for this novel. You know, one second. This is Shruti. I want to, because she's written it in so much detail, I want to share this with you. Just finished reading this novel, several notches higher than my expectation. Wonderfully written. It talks about the Afghani food, culture, and language, and how people of Afghanistan suffered during war, how their well-off life has been jeopardized. I love Nemat Sadat's way of writing. This book leaves you intrigued and curious. No wonder if this book wins prestigious awards, because it deserves to be awarded. A must read.
Oh, that's
So
very,
here
that's very
our book
generous.
club members are hoping and wishing and praying for all the awards to you and this book of yours. And the
You see
reason
all
I'm
these love
reading it
bombs
out
I'm
in
getting?
detail for you is that these are the readers. And here in front of you, that look at the reaction to it.
Yes.
This is what a truly beautiful book is, when it touches you and when you learn so much from it and when you feel so much. And that's what this book has done. It's made us feel. We have full critical evaluation of the book. There are some 11 points. I'm going to forward. It's from Manpreet Kaur. Manpreet, I'm going to forward this to Nemat, and not really going to go into the detail of this. So tell me this: when you went through the relationship between the brother and sister in this book, it's a beautiful relationship. What was your relationship like? Is it so based on your relationship with your sister?
Absolutely. My own story with my sister is a little bit more tumultuous, which makes for a great memoir someday. But I would say, yeah, definitely in terms of core values, my sister is a very good person, and she's always accepted my sexuality. There were moments when she was worried about me coming out as an ex-Muslim and worried about like the reaction.
1 second, you said ex-Muslim. What do you mean by that?
As a person who leaves the faith, because when I first announced that that I'm gay, because I was the first person from Afghanistan to announce that I'm a gay person, and when I said I'm proud to be a gay Afghan American Muslim, and I received very much a backlash from the Muslim community saying that you cannot be gay because it's not accepted in our homosexual is not accepted. So it's an oxymoron to say you're both gay and Muslim.
Okay.
So then I said I did soul searching. I reconciled my sexuality first, but then I did soul searching. I studied the faith, and then decided then I should come out as an ex-Muslim because I really see myself as a humanist. If I only identify myself as a Muslim, then that means that I really can't. I'm building a barrier for myself to people who are from other faiths. So I feel like, why not just be a humanist so I can have a very intimate, close relationship with all of humanity?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I received a lot of threats.
I had never heard of something like an ex-Muslim, or maybe it could be an ex-Hindu or ex-whatever. But yes.
But I started, when I came out, I received a lot of curses, a lot of death threats, very different than the love bombs that you're reading right now.
You deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
You deserve the love now.
I received even like a fatwa from some of the mullahs in Afghanistan wrote a fatwa against me. So I received all that backlash by being the pioneer.
So you said, I accept my sexuality, I give up my faith. Is that what you've said?
Yeah,
basically?
Basically. I said that, and I started new conversations because even here in India, there have been people here who are agnostic or atheists, but also identify as LGBTQ. They started new dialogues with...
Could you tell me a little bit more about this dialogue that you're talking about?
So basically, LGBTQ people who are agnostic and atheists in India, they feel kind of persecuted or kind of like diminished from LGBTQ people who are adamant about saying that they're devout Hindu, Sikh, or Muslim, or whatever religion they are.
I'm really surprised.
Yes. So they said that why do we need to prove our worth and why do we need to like reinforce that we're faithful in order for mainstream heterosexual society to accept our faith?
Absolutely.
That's what they're saying. Why does it have to be part of the conversation?
Absolutely.
So that's what it's, and I think that...
But it is true. Why does it have to be part of conversation? And I didn't realize that there is a divide.
There is a divide.
On these lines. I mean, it is shocking. And again, here we learn something new yet again.
So
Amazing.
That's why a lot of Indians are very happy that a character like Kanishka, who comes out who leaves his faith, as we know in this coming out scene, when he acknowledges that, which won't give too much of a reveal too much.
Give everything.
But we know that his identity is that he's not a really true believer in the religion of Islam. And I think that this character, we haven't seen such a character, right, in this part of the world.
Absolutely.
So I think that's why it's very groundbreaking, and groundbreaking in terms of the carpet weaver aspect, because we haven't showed the exploitation of children carpet weavers.
Absolutely.
Their lungs collapse, they don't go to school, their hands go nimble. This is millions of people, which I referenced the rug belt from Morocco to Tibet, and everything.
How did you reference this?
How did I reference this?
Yeah.
I did a lot of research. When everything that comes to the golden age of Afghanistan, those are stories that I've heard that I just already knew. But things that I researched, Pakistan, Baluchistan terrain,
Yeah.
refugee camps, carpet weaving, and just researching any kind of poems from Rumi and elsewhere, anything related to love or carpets or weaving. I brought it into this book because I thought it'd be
Right.
really relevant. And getting back to Banafsha, I mean, a lot of people say that after Kanishka, that their favorite character, actually sometimes even say that Banafsha is their favorite character, so the sister. And I think what you were wanted to mention about the sister, Banafsha, is she's the only person that really unconditionally loves Kanishka.
Loves him and accepts
Because
him for
everybody
what
else,
he is.
absolutely. And I think that's why they love
It
him.
broke my heart when the mother doesn't accept. Am I allowed to say it? Oops. But it's okay. Something we have to discuss. But yeah,
people will still read it.
That line, you know, and it is so typical where you just say that, okay, I don't kind of want to know about it in that sort of a zone. It broke my heart at that point of time. And as a mother, I feel that also, that does a child stop being a child just because the child is not what you want the child to be? And that, as a mother, is a question that I'm asking the mother in the book. That how could the mother not accept Kanishk for what he was? Broke my heart. Is that the story for you too?
I think this is a story, for me, it took a very long time. My mom didn't believe that there was this belief, she believed there was a choice. Until when I came out to the entire world, and she said to myself, well, wait a minute, this is something not right here. And I sat down, talked to her, and I said, look, everything is falling apart. Like I've come out to the entire world and all these things are happening. Then she finally said that she accepts me. But I still think as a, Central Asian, South Asian mother, I think still deep in her heart, she still wishes I was heterosexual so she can have her, her dream of me getting married. And I could still get married, I could still have kids. But, in her idea, in her vision, that she just wants me to be fully, she just wants to make sure, like most mothers. I mean, I think every mother.
I think as a mother, for her, it must be the trolling or the fatwas or the death threats that you go through. I think more than anything else, for her as a mother, it would be more like, do you really need to go through all this?
Absolutely.
It's okay if you hide it and just don't share it. At least my child will be safe, is what I think I understand as what your mother must be feeling. That do we really need to take this on? Can you not just stay safe, is how it would be. And that's what probably the mother is feeling. And
well, that's what I was telling my mom. One day I talked to her, I said, look, where would the world be without Oscar Wilde? Like, where would, for example, in the UK and Ireland, Oscar Wilde is a groundbreaking person, both as art and as activism. He basically, paved the way. People now, they acknowledge him as being one of the heroes.
Absolutely.
But during his time, they imprisoned him and all those things, that horrific things they did to him.
Absolutely.
Or another one, Alan Turing, he's the father of computer science, but they, basically led him to suicide in the UK. And I think that my mom said, why does it, I'm like, Mom, 100 years from now, Afghanistan, when it eventually becomes liberal and people start accepting LGBT rights in the Muslim world, I'm going to be seen as one of the people who paved the way for them. And my mom's like, my mom's like, it doesn't matter because you'll be dead, I'll be dead. You won't enjoy your glory. I won't enjoy it. I won't see it. So why does it matter?
See, that's a mother speaking.
That's a mother speaking.
Mother wanting her child to be safe, basically.
Yes. And I think as me, as a young man, wanting to make my mark in the world.
So I believe the book was rejected 400 times?
450 times.
Oh my God.
Before the great Kanishka Gupta of the writer's side in Delhi, he's one of the top agents in India, decided, to take it on. And he was the first agent I contacted. He represented. We got multiple offers. We went to an auction. And ultimately, we settled with Penguin Random House India. I watched The Secret about 11 years ago, and I had a visual board in my apartment in Boston. And at that time, Penguin Random House were two separate companies.
Okay.
It had with Penguin Books was separate of Random House.
Right, absolutely.
I had the Penguin logo on my visual board, and it became, you see the Penguin logo.
You've got it, yes.
So sometimes, this affirmations and the really having a belief in yourself really does go a long way.
It does. I do find that the last year, which has been a challenging year for me, a lot of it, without even realizing what you're doing, is what it was. It was visualizing the health, visualizing the back to health, and which is happening with my hair.
Yes.
I think it's taking on a personality of its own right now. But it did, and I think it did see me through a very hard time and saw me get over what I went through. And so what you said is so, so true. What you visualize is what you create. And even if it's wonderful to hear that 11 years ago and 11 years later, here you're sitting with your visual in your hand. So it does happen, and we just have to keep believing in it and visualizing it and affirming it that yes, it's possible.
Absolutely.
And you are a full living example of things that are possible.
Well, when we submitted this book, I had a feeling that this book would resonate with you because of you know what it is to be a full human being, to go through, sharing your own story with updates every day, what you went through.
I still think
not something most people would do.
That was still the easier part. I feel what you went through and what you're going through is a far more harder part and a far more deeper and more critical thing to do, because I think this conversation that we are having is a conversation which is so, so important, because there must be so many boys and young boys and girls who are confused at this point of time because they are being forced to believe in something that they are not, and they're wasting some precious, beautiful years of their life in the confusion in trying to fit into what they are not. But if they were not forced to be fitting into a mold that they're not meant to be in, then imagine the potential that can be unlocked. And your teen years, which are your golden years, and your peak of your health and mental state, and that's the point when we are kind of suppressing that generation into accepting and trying to figure out that something that they can't figure out at that point, because we're forcing them into a mold that they're not fitting into. And that's why this story and these conversations, I feel, as a parent and as someone who sees another generation coming up now, I feel are the most important conversations, because it's not just about the humanity, but the fact that we are kind of not letting them grow and bloom when they should be blooming, actually. Mm-hmm. And I hope this is my small way of doing it. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted this book out. And thank you for writing a book like this, because these are the conversations we need in this society now.
Absolutely. And I think that Kanishka Nur, we see him going against the grain of society, whether he was in Afghanistan, whether he was in internment camp, Pakistan, and even in the United States, he's always going against the grain. Yeah. And I think that's what I think people are coming to this book, whether they're LGBT or non-LGBT, and seeing this character as like, wow, this is what a romantic idealist should be like. They're seeing the character like, this is like, it's a form of self-improvement book. I mean, if you look at Amazon India's top 100 books, there's a lot of self-improvement books. Yes. And I said, like, people can read a novel and it can be self-improvement. That's actually more interesting because you're captivated by a story.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's love. And there is all the human frailties that you see.
Absolutely.
And totally. And it could be a girl or a boy. It could be anybody. But human beings are human beings. And yet again, this book shows us that we are all not so different after all.
Absolutely. And really, I mean, the love story is very much essential. I mean, look at the cover, even shows the love story.
Absolutely.
But I mean, first and foremost, it's Kanishka's Bildungsroman. Like, it's Kanishka's coming of age story, his transition from boyhood to manhood. Because even at the very end, we still are left with many more questions. What's going to happen to Kanishka?
Absolutely.
But one thing we know is that he has all the tools that he needs. He's empowered himself enough that the reader, I think, will feel confident that whatever happens,
it'll be good.
It will be fine. He'll be fine.
Well, I do want, I can't discuss more about it unless we spoil the ending for the readers. But I definitely do feel like seeing a sequel to this book.
Yes.
I hope you have one somewhere.
I've been asked that several times, and I think that I want to resist the temptation of writing a sequel, because that's generally more popular.
What about a movie?
A movie, yes.
You think you've been, how many offers have you got for a movie for this book as yet? Because it's very visual,
So far, I'm really surprised. We do have several offers.
You do, right?
Yes, we do have
How
offers.
Amazing.
We do have offers. Nothing has been sealed and cemented yet.
Okay.
But we do have people here who are interested in making this as an international film.
It is a beautiful film.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much of visual quality to the book, and it would translate beautifully into a movie, I feel.
Yeah, but as far as sequel, I think that as a popular classic, I wanted to keep it as a Kunstlerroman or Bildungsroman. Generally, there's just one book. I mean, the transition from the young adult to maturity to the formation that they go through. I think that writing a sequel, I think it will just take away. It will never be as good as this. It will just be, I mean, it could be.
So what other story do you think is kind of lurking in there right now?
Okay.
Because you're out with this and you are talking about it, and you will keep talking about it, and it will take its own course, and it's already taken a life of its own.
Absolutely.
The Carpet Weaver, I think, is an entity by itself now.
Itself,
So
yes.
what are the other stories that are lurking in there somewhere?
Well, I've already written a memoir, but I've been asked by my agent in London to leave that aside for now. Leave your memoir aside and establish your career as a novelist first, because we already know you're an activist. Your memoir is very interesting, but we want to know your story. So the second book I'm writing is called The Last of the Uranians.
The Last of the Uranians.
Uranians. So Uranians is a term, but it can mean both homosexual or also something like celestial or heavenly is a synonym for it. And it's a dystopian speculative fiction. It's set in 2100. And the first part is in the United States, the second part in UK, and the third part in India, without going into too much details and giving away the story.
It sounds amazing!
but we, because I love Mumbai, but anyway, but we're moving the capital from Delhi to Nagpur to central. So I'm moving the capital because,
I have 100 questions to that, but anyway.
But anyway, so I'm writing a story where the LGBT community in India has more prominence, because it will have prominence, because now that Section 377 has been scrapped,
absolutely,
and India will become the most populous country in the world, and the next coming will overtake China. And as more people come out, Indian LGBT community will be the largest in the world. Okay. So it will be a force to be reckoned with, and it will champion the carpet weaver, and it'll become a conversation in Asia and the East. But I really want to show a story where the LGBT community here in India become heroes of the world. Like there's something happens where an authoritarian regime takes over the US and UK, and the LGBT community in India is actually going to go liberate them. Oh, super. Isn't that great?
That sounds amazing. What do you think, guys? This is so exciting. So we've got the sneak peek into the next book. We can't wait for it. You think next year?
Oh, no. It won't take me 11 years. I'm thinking maybe about 3-4 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Can you wait?
No, come on, hurry up. Because now we have tasted blood, you see. We want more from you.
And there will be a love story in there. And then the next story I'll be writing after that also has a love story. So all of them will have love story. All of them will have LGBTQIA identities or characters and themes.
That's the beauty of it, because, in your popular culture, in your conversations, to have LGBTQ characters talking, winning wars, and kind of actually saving the world, as you call it, it's beautiful. Yeah. You're actually giving this a new lease of life, and I love the way you've started these conversations. Do we have any more of these? Anshul. Hi, Anshul. I love the way you're always there. He was about to ask us about the movie, and I've asked that already. Anshul, thank you so much. You're always one of the most wonderful members, and you're always so there.
We'll have a press conference, and we'll have a press conference about the movie when it becomes official.
Yes.
And maybe we'll have it here in Mumbai, so we'll let you know.
Yeah. Daman says that they're looking forward to the new book, and as you can see that everybody is so excited about the new book. Anything else you would like to add that you would like to share with our book club members?
Yes. Well, Diwali has passed, but this is certainly a great gift, the post-Diwali, to share with your book, for Christmas, for every holiday. I think this is a book that it will warm everybody's heart. It's a gift that you can pretty much give to anyone. You can give to your grandmother, your friend. And I think it will change them. It will change them. It will make them not only empathize more with the plight of LGBT person or the plight of Afghanistan, but also help them to understand where they are in life. Because Absolutely. I think that one of the you'll learn so much about international relations in this book, right?
Absolutely, you do. And also, I would say that
because Afghanistan has always been.
It is a book you need to give so that you start conversations. And real change only happens when you have good conversations going. And this is what this book does, starts conversations.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nemat.
Thank you very much.
So much for being on the book club. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, it's been a pleasure
Can I give you a
here.
hug?
Absolutely.
Oh. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.